Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I wanted to talk about some of the current transits, which is something that I don't do very often, but I felt called to today because there's lots going on that I just feel like is really amazing, and I'd love to talk with you guys about it as well because, transits aren't really my expertise. You guys know I love synastry and I love natal soul purpose stuff. That's kind of my specialty, but I do like to talk about the transits when they're like activating something for me or when I feel like I have something to say about it. So yeah, there's a few things going on right now that I wanted to talk about, but you guys feel free to let me know what you were thinking about the current transits as well, because you may notice things that maybe I have missed. So we're coming up to this new moon tomorrow. Okay, today is October 20th, 2025. And tomorrow we are having this new moon in Libra. If you guys see me look over here, I have my astrology chart over there on my other laptop that I have my astrology program on. And then I use this laptop, which has a little bit better quality for my videos. So I'm using both right now. That's why I'm looking over there, if you're wondering. So yeah, we've got this new moon in Libra happening. So, once a year we're going to get the Libra new moon. And this one in particular is significant because we have Venus also in Libra. So Venus is ruling this new moon. Venus is in its home sign. I love when Venus is in a sign that it rules. I really feel like it's a beautiful time. And this is extra potent for this new moon because we have Venus ruling that. And Venus is just coming out of a grand trine, actually. It's a little bit past now, but you could say that it is still, if you're using a wide orb, trine to Uranus and Pluto. So I'm thinking we could have had, and that could have been last week actually, some pretty big declarations of love or some new relationships beginning or ending, and kind of like a faded feel around relationships with Venus making these powerful aspects, but also in its home sign, which she naturally feels really good in. I think I said this last week in one of my videos. We have Venus in her home sign, and then we also have Mars in his home sign of Scorpio, or he likes being in Scorpio. Scorpio and Aries, right? These are really nice places to have Mars. So I really felt like, there's a power and potency available now where we have like, the feminine energy, the Venusian energy, and Venus working very harmoniously, just being in her comfort zone, her really, shining star sign, right? And then we also have Mars in his very strong sign. So these are really fortunate energies, and I'll talk more about that because Mars is also involved in a grand trine, and Mars and Mercury are conjunct. That was actually the reason I wanted to do this video, is because this Mars-Mercury conjunction is just hitting right now. It's just, it's just past. So it happened like early last night. I don't know if you guys had a hard time sleeping. I did. And I once in a while I'll have insomnia, not very often, but I definitely could not fall asleep. But I was in really good energies, really, feeling of power, feeling of passion, right? This Mars, Mercury, and Scorpio, but it was definitely a lot of energy after my clients today. I definitely want to work out and get some of the energy out of the body. But yeah, so let's talk about that. We've got Mercury and Mars conjunct in Scorpio right now. Oh my goodness, this is just like the piercing energy of communication and fighting and passion, and it to me is like a really powerful time to state your desires to the universe and God and just be like, this is what I'm truly here for, and to also have the energy and the certainty to fight for whatever it is that you do desire, because Scorpio does have that energy of desire and like what we truly feel passionate about. We do have a lot of water signs right now. So even though we're in airy, Libra, we actually have quite a lot of water signs happening. So the feels are really, really high right now. But ultimately, I feel like the highest energy of Scorpio is like being able to transform and die in yourself what is ready to be let go and what is ready to die within yourself. So with this Mercury Mars conjunction, it's like we have the energy for the new ideas, but we also have the energy to transform what is no longer serving us and let it go. And also, it's pretty feisty. I definitely feel like if you've been holding back, like if you've got to say like a F you to someone, I think a lot of people are going to be hearing that come out right now, or that's an energy right now. But it's like, anger from its purest place, like the emotion of anger, comes out because a boundary has been crossed, right? And so anger is very healthy when it's a signal of like, okay, you've stepped over the line and I have to, express that and say no, right? Like, so of course, there is an unhealthy expression of anger where we're just raging out on everybody, but that's not what this feels like. This feels very healthy. This feels very much like, we're letting off the steam. We're saying things that maybe we've been repressing for a long time. And, my only advice would be with this Mercury Mars conjunction is like, to try your best to say it in the most tactful way possible. And then we do have all this Libra energy, and we do have the Libra new moon and Libra Venus. So like, I do think that that's possible, that it's like we have the right energies right now where we can like stand up for what we desire and what we feel is right and fight for what is right in our life, but do it in a way that's also graceful. And like, we're not stepping on anybody's toes to do it. We have the right amount of like charm and grace and fight in us right now. Let me know if you guys are feeling that, because that's kind of what I've been feeling. So onto this grand trine. We got to talk about this grand trine happening with Mercury and Mars in their conjunction, trine to Jupiter and trine to Saturn, and actually just past being trine to the North Node as well. So this is pretty amazing. So we're having Mercury and Mars, they're approaching their trine and this formation of a grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn. So this is really interesting. This is all occurring in water. So that's what I mean when I said the feelings are intense right now. Even a grand trine in water, like this, I actually interpret the grand trine as like a fortunate and positive thing. Some astrologers don't, because it can definitely get a little lazy. But I think that like with just the awareness of it, you can kind of like flick the switch and turn it on, and it becomes a very fortunate or lucky thing to have in the natal chart. But what I would, just be cautious of right now with this grand trine in water, and especially with Mercury and Mars in conjunction, is like your feelings sweeping you up and like, definitely getting caught in like the heat of passion. And like, that's a grand trine in water. It's like hard for you to realize sometimes that your emotions are not facts of the situation, right? So like, luckily we have the air sign of Libra very present to kind of bring us back to like logic and ration, right? And the scales and like balancing this out. Because otherwise, this is a very emotional energy, right? It's a very passionate, desirous energy. But the good thing about it is we have Jupiter and Saturn in a trine actually, and I don't think that trine will like perfect yet, because I think Jupiter is going retrograde like soon-ish. Maybe you guys have the dates on that, but it's still in the orb of being trine right now in water. We've got Saturn back in Pisces, and honestly, I got to talk about that too. Neptune's going back into Pisces. Saturn is back into Pisces. I love it, and a lot of people are like, no, we hate it. But like honestly, I have natal Saturn in Pisces, and I'm just like, yeah, even though it's like technically kind of going close to my natal Saturn again, and like, I guess my Saturn return, although I feel like my Saturn return is over because it's not going exact ever again. But I honestly love the watery Saturn, and I guess like for my spiritual mission, and like it's very helpful, I feel like, for spiritual work and for like emotional healing, which is like my specialty. So I honestly love this water sign energy. I'm excited for Neptune to go back into Pisces, even though of course there's like a lot of delusional energy that can be around with these planets in Pisces. I'm actually excited, like as someone who does spiritual work and healing work, like, yeah, I'm super excited about it. But this Jupiter-Saturn trine, so think of last year, okay, when we had Jupiter in Gemini and it was squaring Saturn a few times. And then before that, we had Jupiter in Taurus, and I believe it was sextiling Saturn. The Jupiter-Saturn relationship, I feel like, is very significant for outer success. So when they're square, it can feel like it's difficult to bring like your hopes and dreams and faith, Jupiter, into concrete reality of the 3D Saturn, right? The karmic energy. When they're trine like this, even though the trine can be a little bit lazy, it also seems very likely that you will have success in the outer world, and it will be easier to attain, you know, your goals and what you're working towards. Now, a lot of this could be just emotional things. We are seeing these planets in water signs, right? Or, you know, literally it could be stuff to do with the home, Jupiter in Cancer, home and family and heart, things like that. You know, what is truly meaningful to you at the heart level? I think we could be seeing some results right now, manifesting into the world. And that's something you guys are wanting me to talk about, is like natal Jupiter Saturn. I have talked about the conjunction. I want to talk about the square. You guys have requested that a lot, because I do feel like, and I've read this also, that it's like one of the most difficult aspects that you can have in your natal chart is a Jupiter in a hard aspect to Saturn, as far as like depression aspects in the natal chart. And I do think that that tracks. But yeah, so we don't have that right now. That was last year, okay? That was 2024. Now we're getting to experience a taste of Jupiter trine with Saturn and activating this grand trine with Mars and Mercury. And I really think that this is a powerful time for dreams into reality. Like, we have the help of these planets, Jupiter and Saturn, to bring our desires, to bring our thoughts, right? Mercury, our desires, Mars, into tangible reality. And we have the emotional energy to like visualize. Like, I don't, like, I'm not like a law of attraction manifestation coach or whatever like that, but there is obviously something to it. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on energetically too, that I don't think it's just that, but like, there really is something to like holding a vision and feeling the energy of what it would feel like to live the dream realized. And that really like is a powerful practice for feeling good at the very least, for manifestation if it is, you know, for your highest good and divine will. So spending some time really sitting in the energy of what you truly desire and feeling it in your emotional body, I feel like that is a really good thing to do right now as we have these powerful energies. Also, the energy of a grand trine with Mars involved too. It could be a bit of stubbornness, like, you know, not being open to an outside opinion, which can be good for manifestation also, saying, you know, you can't have this or you can't do it. And you know what? You're like, actually, I'm in my own zone. I'm in my grand trine here. Like, I am rolling through and you can just get out of the way if you're not on board. So of course, taken too far, that might be that we're not open to like outside input as much right now. But that could be very helpful. So, like, if you've spent your whole life listening to others' opinions outside of the voice of your own soul, now's a really good time to actually listen to your own soul and like go for it, because you've got the energy, you've got the emotional connection to it, the passion to really bring things into reality right now. And you have the support of Jupiter and Saturn making this trine to really bring dreams into reality and bring, you know, that dream, that faith, that hope that you have, actually creating that into the tangible reality, which is like the highest energy of Saturn and Pisces, really is like dreams into reality. And yeah, they've just passed over a trine with the North Node too, Mercury and Mars trine to the North Node as well. The words you speak right now are activating your destiny. Okay, that's how I would interpret that. And also, like, collectively, our destiny right now is to really tap into the spiritual, you know, tap into feelings. We're never going to be able to sort it all out. We're never going to be able to organize it all, right? That's the trap of the Virgo South Node. We have to have faith even when it doesn't make sense. Now, of course, we can always be taking the concrete action steps in the physical reality. That's the higher side of the South Node in Virgo. But some things we have to just leave it up to God, right? Or source or spirit or whatever you want to call it. There's something higher. There's a higher intelligence. And that's really what we're leaning on right now with the North Node in Pisces. So yeah, amazing energies right now. What else did I want to talk about? Okay, so It's not quite exact because this new moon is happening at 28 degrees of Libra, I believe, but I do think it's a yod with two quincunxes. So, like, once the sun enters Scorpio, and the moon, of course, too, is going to pass through it. There's every time something enters Scorpio or Virgo, or no, not Virgo. What would be the other quincunx sign? Um, Brain fart moment. But yeah, as far as like, okay, so when the sun goes into Scorpio, it's going to make a yod with Neptune and Uranus and Gemini. So this is like a very powerful destiny portal right now. And to top it all off, like the yod is this very complex thing that, the finger of fate. I have one in my chart. It's like, there's a lot to say about that. That could be a whole separate video, but I really feel like it's a destiny activator, and it's like you can't control the outcomes of a yod. It's like there is this certain fated energy to your life, and so we have that energy right now because even though they're at 28 degrees of Libra, the sun and moon are quincunx to Uranus and Neptune. So there is some destiny activations going on right now, and there's actually a lot of tension. I mean, you could even count them being square to Pluto as well and square to Jupiter. The Jupiter square has passed. So when the sun and moon hit Scorpio, though, there's going to be a moment of tension that could be a bit of a crisis point because of this tension and like the square to Pluto. Squares to Pluto are not always fun, but oh my God, are they ever productive? There is a lot of energy right now. Grounding with the square, with these quincunxes, grounding, meditating, yoga, hugging a tree, placing your bare feet on the earth. These are all very important things right now because actually, oh my goodness, do we have no earth right now? We have no earth in the chart. So we have earth deficiency other than the south node, which actually my rule is if the south node is in a sign, that deficiency is corrected. So we do have earth. We have earth with the south node in Virgo, but still we don't have a planet in earth. So going out and hugging a tree is going to help you ground some of this energy down. But you know what people say? It's like squares and quincunxes can be way more productive than the easy aspects like the grand trine. Luckily for us right now this week, we have both, okay? So we have the gifts, the ease of the trine, and then we have the tension and the frustration of these squares and quincunxes. So I really do feel like this is a very powerful week. Neptune going back into Pisces less than 2 days away from now. I really liked Neptune in Pisces. Of course, Neptune rules Pisces. So we're kind of finishing off that cycle. Neptune entered Pisces, so long ago. I was still a teenager. That was actually when I probably started my spiritual journey and got into astrology as well. So we're just kind of finishing off that chapter, closing it out, okay, until about January. I believe Neptune goes back into Aries for the final time. It will not enter Pisces again in our lifetime. So really enjoy this time of heightened connection to spirit, God, and just, be aware of the delusional energy. But I think at this point with this 29th degree of Pisces energy, we figured it out. We're on the good side of it. You might see, crazy, chaotic, delusional people out in the world, but just stay centered in your spiritual practice. And I would say, really enjoy these Pisces energies because this is the last time we're going to have it, and then we're going to have the grand conjunction in February at 0 degrees Aries with Neptune and Saturn. So that will be like the ultimate new beginning. So I would say, right now, and Uranus is going to go back into Taurus as well, really enjoy these late degree placements because the later degrees of a sign have, of course, the most wisdom. So, really meditate on the higher aspects of Pisces energy and bring those out. This is the finale. This is the last time we're going to see Neptune there. So I would say enjoy it and enjoy these water trines that it makes because trines are awesome. Trines feel great. I love to emphasize trines. really enjoy these times, you guys, and I'd love to know how you're feeling with all of this. It does seem like it's a really powerful time. So, sending you all the love, and we will talk soon. Bye.